just a hack. It's just an absolute hack. And he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Welcome back here on Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, two former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today we are previewing week 4 of FCS football action. We have Montana State playing Weber State. We've got Sac State, Idaho. We've also got some quick thoughts on URI Villanova. We don't want to monopolize our time on our former team, but we're going to talk about that a little bit, as well as some thoughts on some of these other big games. I mean, Mercer's playing Furman, Chattanooga's playing Samford, UNH is playing Delaware. This is an insane weekend across college football. Sean, I am freaking juiced up. By the way, I know this is the wrong show to bring it up on. Our beards look terrible, man. Like, we both just do not look good right now.
It's bad. I mean, that's awful. That's awful. And then under here, that's just going to keep, it's just going to, I see.
I'm worried about the neck. I think that the neck is, and I'm trying to keep it in a little check, but like, I'm deliberately not trying to shave it or anything because like, I know that we agreed not to do it, but I'm already getting complaints from my girlfriend, by the way. I'm just letting you know this. You don't have anyone to complain to you, but I am getting complaints. It's a weekend and I'm already
I have a small window is what I'm realizing before it becomes, oh my God, gross, to get something done, if you know what I'm talking about. Because then it's going to be, why is Yukon Cornelius in the bar trying to talk to me? I've actually written on my mirror in my bathroom, beard bet, don't shave, with an expo marker to remind myself.
Oh, my God. Can you please share that on Twitter? Can you please post that on Twitter? That is awesome.
Shoot. All right. Yep. Football's here, I guess.
Yes, football's here. Speaking of which, can you share a quick message with our listeners?
Get your hands out of my face.
Bet online.
I don't need you. Yeah, exactly. I don't like that.
I'm an Italian. Stop telling me I can't move my hands and
You're
point
not.
them. Bet online.
You're a liar.
BetOnline is where you can find all of your action for this college football season. It's where I go to, Sean, for all of my betting. I don't know the rest of the read because Cam Rogers doesn't send it to me, so continue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. From now we're in week 4 all the way to the college football playoff and Super Bowl. BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the website
Cam Rogers
today.
voice.
Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Did you know I'm from Maryland? Did you know I have a really big head? Did you know I big time Sean Anderson in a bar? Did you know that? Did you know I can't tweet without my face being in a tweet? Did you know I was the first employee of Believe? Did you know? I am. I'm from Maryland. Did you know that? Okay, BetOnline, where the game starts. This was Cam Rogers.
Thank you. That made my day. That really made my day. I'm going to send it to the charity stripe guys.
I couldn't look at myself doing that. I had to keep the read over my face because I knew I was making it. I had to make a stupid face to try to channel my inner Cam Rogers. Cam's a good dude. I like Cam Rogers.
I love the Cam.
But he's got a way about him that just it pushes some weird button in your brain, and that's maybe is good for the industry. Oh boy.
All right, let's talk about these games. First, starting off with Montana State traveling at Weber State. Look, I love that this early on in the season, the Bobcats have a redemption opportunity here. Weber State got a signature win over UNI, and they looked really freaking well-rounded. That's what we talked about. How Damon Bankston has just really established this run game, and I think that whole offense is just grind you out all 4 quarters. They keep going. They turn the ball over. They are just will you into the ground type of a team. But you know who's been that team over the past decade plus?
Who?
It's been Montana State. We know that Montana State is the better of the 2 teams at doing this because they have built their identity on this over the past couple of years. Now, it's worth noting, apparently, Malott might be out of this game from what I saw. It seems like he's not going to be available. Sean Chambers, though, has been playing really well. I think that this game is critical for, as I was saying, to reestablish themselves and say, you know what, we lost to South Dakota State. It was a little fluky. It was a close game. Crazy things happen when you go on the road to South Dakota State. So what? We're still the second best or third best team in the country. I'd move them up over North Dakota State if they win this game, by the way. They deserve to be moved up. But my big key to victory here for Montana State, if they are going to pull out, they need to get more running back involvement. I feel like over the past few games, it's been very quarterback heavy. And Malott's gone. He's not available in this game, as I just said. You got to get more running back involvement. I know Isaiah Fonse. We used to love talking about him, but we got to get more running back involvement to have some diversity in the play calling and also the playmakers in your offense.
Yeah, Montana State ran all over the Stetson Hatters. Terrible name. Terrible.
Worst name in college football.
It's bad. They ran all over them. They had 8 different ball carriers, 36 carries, 346 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So they were all ground. I expect them to continue to be all ground. They might throw a little red herring and try to open it up in the first couple drives with a couple heavy pass early down plays. Like, it wouldn't shock me if in their first 6 plays they threw the ball 4 times and 3 of those were beyond the sticks. That I wouldn't be, so just to try to get Weber off balance, because Weber's a well-coached team and they've always been a smart team. So when you know what your opponent is best at, you're just going to be locked in on that anyways. So if you can try to just bump them off balance by changing up the expectation, I would expect Montana State to try and do that. But Sean Chambers or Tommy Mellott, at this point, it's been so interesting to see that I have a complete comfort with either of them leading the team. I do not. I personally, I know Montana State fans will tell me one is better than the other, or they prefer the offense operates differently with each one. Outside looking in, I'm cool with either one of them. And I know that they can go out there, throw the ball when they need to. They're not going to be dotting teams up, and they're going to run the rock, and they're going to lead the offense. And it could be either one of them. Montana State has found an interchangeable product at quarterback, and both work. So Weber is going to have to buckle down and be ready. And then Weber's new wrinkles that they've added, dynamic. So you have to be an agent of chaos here against Montana State. Try to force some fumbles. Try to be just you got to be a real street fighter to try to win this game.
I think on the Weber State side of things, for me, we know who Bankston is. We know that he is one of the best running backs in the FCS, and he is a guy that you can give the ball 25, 30 times a game and
they should
say go to work. But Montana State's defensive front has just been so good last season, this season, that we know that they, you don't even need to load the box up to slow down an opposing team's run game. But what we learned against UNI is that they do have that ability to stretch the field. They do have that ability to take some deep shots. They've got guys like Jacob Sharp and Jalen Record that they can spread things a little bit. And I see this as that you have, with Kylan Weiser, you have to take a couple shots. You have to try and spread them out, because when you do that, it's going to force Montana State to not play with heavy boxes. The more light boxes you get, the less hats you have to block, the more opportunities for Bankston to take over that you're going to get in this game.
Yeah, Weber's got a good one thing I'm looking at here. Weber's got a good offensive line with some returning veterans and some big bodies. They need to protect their quarterback, because Montana State's getting 3 sacks a game so far this year. They have 9 total sacks. That's pretty good. You got to stop that pass rush. You got to protect your quarterback, keep him upright, and keep the offense moving, because all Montana State wants to do is crush your soul and stall out your drives with a sack on 2nd or 3rd down. That's all they want to do, and they're going to be good at it. So you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared for They always bring some interesting blitz. They crush the A gaps. When Troy Anderson was there, he was murdering centers in the A gap. So I think they're going to keep trying to replicate that. They want to stay on pace with that 3 sack a game average. So Weber State, buckle up.
Sac State at Idaho. Chester and Rack are going to be front row for this one.
Yeah,
the Kibbe Dome is going to be rocking for this. This is a really important game, because we've seen what these teams can do against FBS opponents, and we've seen these teams both really light things up. Now we get time to separate. This is a real separation game, and week 4 is just such an important separation week for all of college football. Now with Sac State, Caden Bennett, I thought Carson Camp was going to be the guy, but Bennett has been phenomenal to start the season. I am a really big advocate for Marcus Fulcher. I think he's going to get drafted, and surprisingly high even. I think that he could be like an early day 3 type of a running back. They have a dynamic offense despite a new coaching staff, despite Troy Taylor moving on and going to Stanford. That offense is still as dynamic as it's been. Sean, here's my thing. I like that, and I think if they win, it's going to be because that duo has a really good game. But dude, I think Giovanni McCoy, man, is just a freaking dude. Giovanni
He
McCoy
is.
has
He
been
is.
on a week-to-week basis just consistently more and more dangerous. I really wanted them to beat Cal because then I would have been even more in on Idaho for what them and McCoy are gonna do the rest of the season. I also get tagged by a million people in Hayden Hatton highlights, and I keep getting a million messages from people about Hayden Hatton.
He's
The
a
guy's
dude.
really freaking good. He is such an awesome passing option in this offense. I am leaning Idaho because of McCoy. I think there's just a slight edge because of the playmaking capabilities that McCoy has.
Both teams are coming into this game with elite momentum. Just massive. I mean, Idaho rolling. Sac State, huge win last week over Stanford. Stanford, butt of the FBS. Okay, cool. Make your jokes. It's still a big win for that team. This is going to be a dynamic game. Giovanni McCoy has a chance to really put some pressure on Sacramento State, but I'm leaning Sac State. They have been a model of consistency over the last 18 months, and they have shown that they know how to operate on offense no matter who the coordinator is so far. I'm willing to say that. I think that they did, for the amount of regression that was expected, they have defied that. They have said, we are some football players, and we are going to run the ball at you, and we're going to get the ball to our playmakers in space, and it's going to be up to you to make the tackle, big boy. And it's going to be tough because all of our running backs squat 800 pounds, and all of our wide receivers squat at least 450. So go out there in space, make a stop. Problem is, Idaho plays tough as hell. This is a terribly hard game to pick. Even though Idaho, I believe, is the underdog, I would assume. Are they giving them home field advantage?
I don't know if there's even a betting line for this. Not on bet online.
Regardless, top of head says Sac State is the favorite. If I was setting the line, it would be a pick 'em. It would be a straight up pick 'em. You got a 50-50 chance. So just an incredible game to just usher in week 4 for FCS football fans.
Yeah, I'm really juiced up about this game. This is going to be such a freaking fun game, and this one has so much potential to be 42 to 35. It could be an insanely high scoring game, or the lid could come off and it could be even lower scoring. But I really think this is going to be a fireworks.
It could be 32-10 either way. Also, I want to make that.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't. Also, I hope both these teams stay around. They are right now concrete in my top 10, both of them. So hopefully they can put out a good performance. Give the fans what they want. Let's have a good ball game in Idaho. Talking
about the last game here. This one, look, if not Notre Dame, if Rhode Island is playing a ranked on ranked matchup, we have to give them a run. We're 2 former Rhode Island players. I don't care if you want to complain. We're 2 Rhode Island players. Nobody wanted to talk about us when we were playing, so we're going to talk about them when we get the opportunity to.
And I feel like we've been pretty good about it
this
season.
Yes. Rhode Island playing Villanova. This is a really just critical game for Rhode Island because Villanova snuck into the back end of the poll. And I think that a lot of people have been discounting Rhode Island. For some reason, the FCS Fan Nation guys had Western Carolina ranked ahead of Rhode Island, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But I think that we're going to learn that Rhode Island has what it takes to be considered as one of those top 3 teams in the CAA. Kasim Hill has been around college football for 10 years. The guy has been playing forever. Experienced quarterbacks are so important. What Villanova does bring is dynamic receivers. They've got Ray John Pringle and Jalen Sanchez. They've put up some stupid stat lines over the past couple of weeks. But what we have is Jaden McKenzie, who is a massive freaking running back at 6'3", 230 pounds. And then the St. Francis transfer, Katero Summer, who is just on an insane streak of games, the performances that he's put together. I look at this roster and I think that this is the best Rhode Island team that I've seen on paper, despite us losing some guys in the portal.
Yeah, I thought last year they had a really complete team top to bottom. This year they seem to have, I think that the leaders on the offensive line have taken control of this team. Sebastian De La Sutis, Nick Correa, Lorenzo Thompson. Whether they have ups or downs or not, the team goes through them. They've just been they've been started whatever their consecutive starts are, 28-30. It's been impressive for them, and they have done their jobs pretty well this season, opening up holes and then protecting Kasim Hill well enough. And Kasim Hill's a quarterback. He just needs a little bit of time. He can make the plays outside of the pocket. He can make some defenders miss. But if you give him a little bit of time, that's where he's going to shine. And you can say that about any quarterback, but I see it more with Kasim Hill. And they're starting to roll. Katero Summers, welcome to my notice list. He stood out versus Georgia State. I said, okay, this guy's can play some football. And he's continued to put up good game after good game after good game. This is going to be one of those, you just hope it's not, but you know it is, a crazy-ass CAA football game between two teams that they just fight each other every time they play, and every time that, and even if it's not a real fight, it's just a fight on the field. And it's Villanova just talks so much.
It's unbelievable.
You just wonder how a team could talk that much during a game. You're sitting there like, how are they still going? We beat them, or they beat us, and they're still regardless. It's just a handle business game for either team. Either team, whoever could just be a little more professional, whoever could keep their composure just a little bit more than the other one, I think comes out with the victory. I think yeah.
Worst road locker room. One of the worst road locker rooms. It's a lacrosse locker room that we've been shoved in, and it does not fit 65 people. It fits 20.
You know, I've never traveled to Villanova.
The worst travel experience. We only did it once our freshman year. It was the worst, just the absolute worst experience, because it's just you're no room to get dressed. Nothing.
And that crazy ass one.
All right, let's do FC estimates, and then we're gonna wrap our FC estimates picks. Starting us off, Montana State. Weber, who you got?
Montana State. Hopefully Weber makes it a game, but Montana State is the official pick for me.
Yeah, I think that Montana State has just been so freaking good, and I'm not going to bet against them on this one. Sac State, Idaho. Who are you picking?
I'm taking Sac State.
Ooh, go get him. Go get him, Rack and Chester. Tag him, add him. Go after him on Twitter. I'm taking Idaho. Give me the Vandals, baby.
I could take that from them, but don't tag celebrities in the tweets, please. Thank you.
Tag as many celebrities
don't listen
as
to
you
Joe.
possibly can.
I'm telling you, don't tag anybody that's ever been on Baywatch. All right? Just if you're gonna talk to me. Don't involve casuals.
Uri Villanova, who are you picking?
I am taking Rhode Island.
I am also, man, I swear to God, every time we record, I get a million phone calls and text messages. It's and like nothing goes on the rest of the day. But
how could you? Nobody will respect our jobs until we're sitting across from Stephen A. Smith, and I bet he's still getting people calling him during the show. I swear, there's no career, there's nowhere that people do not understand what you do or care what you do less than doing what we do.
I'm going with Rhode Island here. Mercer versus Furman.
I will take Furman.
Yeah, not impressed by Mercer. I'm going to go with Furman. Chattanooga, Samford.
I'll go with Samford. About time for I've ridden the Chattanooga train long enough. I could feel that my stop is coming, so I'm taking Samford to win this game.
I am going to go Chattanooga. I think that Samford's let me down a little bit. I think that they've been a little bit dry so far, so I'm going to go with Chattanooga. UNH, Delaware.
Give me UNH. They look scary.
I'm going to go with UNH as well. I think that Delaware is going to get, maybe not exposed, but we're going to get some reality setting in for that team. Eastern Washington, UC Davis. What are you doing here?
I'm taking UC Davis. Think it's going to be a weird game. Gut told me to take them.
Barf. Give me Eastern Washington. Give me Eastern Washington. I'm dipshit.
Yeah.
Montana, NAU.
Montana.
I almost took NAU, but I'm going to go with Montana. I love the one guy who comments on all of our videos. It's like, oh, you guys don't give any attention. The word Montana doesn't come out of your mouth once.
You're boring.
Montana hasn't played anyone. What? I'm not going to talk. This isn't just a Montana hour. What
do you want me to say?
Notice that we didn't talk about South Dakota State Drake, because you played Drake and you won 70 to whatever it was. When you do something good or really bad, we will talk about you. That's how this show works. I'm sadly going to go with Montana. SEMO, UK.
I am taking SEMO.
I meant to say EKU. I'm also going to go with SEMO. Parker McKinney, man, is no help. Montana. Oh, wait, I already just said that one.
One more
Elon
game here,
Campbell.
pal. Let's keep it together.
Shut up, Elon Campbell.
I am going with Elon for the victory.
Give me the Camels. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio. Enjoy the rest of your week, folks. We'll be back.